Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It has been a wild ride here this last year. I am going to be talking about three quick things today, and that is the drastic change in the real estate landscape. How did we get here? And it's pretty obvious what's coming down the pipeline to get us out of it. Now, I'm going to take San Joaquin Hills here in Laguna Niguel because it's a very good depiction as far as the rest of the city and, for that matter, the rest of the county. Now, the development of San Joaquin Hills, historically for the last 15, 18 years, had about 55, 56 home sales that turned every year. That was pretty average, pretty consistent. 2 years ago, when the market started to constrict, we went down to 17, which was a 70% reduction in home sales. This last year, we only had 9 home sales. That's an 85% reduction. Now, why is that important? Because those drastic numbers across the nation, that is such a big part of GDP that the politicians are sweating. And the economy does need to they need to do something to uptick this. And you've been hearing things like affordable housing, and they're just trying to deflect it, maybe even talk about too much about interest rates. Let me give you an example of what I deal with here every day, to give you an example of what home buyers are looking at. Here in Laguna Niguel, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, entry-level home here, or a nice townhome, is about $1.6 million. If we take that $1.6 million and we get someone with a down payment, I had Bob and Susan here, of 20% down, you can see $320,000. They get a loan amount of $1,280,000. At 6%, their payment's $7,674. Add in property tax, insurance, HOAs, it's almost $10,000 a month. Even if we were to go down to 5%, take those same exact numbers, it does reduce it by $802, but it's still $9,200 monthly payment. Now, the reason why I say that is because, the philosophy used to be many years ago, with whatever you earn a year, times that by 3, and that really is a scenario of what you could afford. Make $100,000 a year, $350,000 is what you're buying. We're almost at 8-time annual levels now. And that has become a problem, not just in our country, but in other countries also. And they're all scrambling for this. So what I could tell you right now is we're seeing the same thing we're seeing in the late 2000s, the 90s, and the 80s. And that is policy is going to come down, because government knows the lowering interest rates is not going to move the needle at all. It helps, but it's not going to move where we are right now. So what do I mean by policies? One of the policies you're hearing is, we talked about before, is a primary tax-free gain for homeowners. In 1997, they uplifted it from $250,000 individual to $500 couples. We're way past that with housing, with equity position. They're trying to get it up to $500,000 to $1 million, or none at all. Now, that would incentivize a lot of home buyers, especially older ones, to put their home on the market. Now, what about home buyers? One of them, we've heard about the 50-year loan. I don't think that's going to be the best solution, but one they just kicked off on is, if you're a first-time buyer, for quite some time, you were able to take your 401k down payment, as long as you're a first-time buyer, and put it toward your first home. But numbers are so big now. Now they're offering, maybe, not yet though, to maybe take as much as you want out of your 401k with no penalties and put toward your home in order to get that payment more reasonable with your income. Now, there are a lot of policies that are being talked about. Whether you agree with them or not, it's all done just to help kickstart the market, and at the same time get people into homes and get people to put their homes on the market. That's the way it's always been done. Now, as far as the last 10 months, I've had more and more people say, Joe, we're tired of waiting. These are the ones who are making a move because of life changes. Not because of the market, they just have some life changes there. So I could tell you 2020, this next year, it's going to be a wild ride again. It's pretty exciting, but at the same time, it could be very stressful if you want to make a move and you're trying to figure out how to do it. It all starts with the discovery meeting. We sit down, see what your purpose is, and we just see how can we position things that work in your favor. Every once in a while, maybe you should wait. Other times, we just figure something out and we're able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Just looks a little different here. So like I always say, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. And until we meet, you take care.